Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to a special edition of Black Game Pro Sessions. Today is a different kind of day. Normally, we have live conversations here with guests, but I had the opportunity last week at the Conlines Festival of Creativity to have a sit-down interview with Jaye, Letta J. Watts. First of all, thank you for thank you to Hip Hop Gamer for the introduction. So it's a pre-recorded session this time, which is different than we normally do. So we're trying something out, which is it's important. Let me see. Everything is working here. Okay, cool. Just making sure that everything works. But the conversation I had with Letta J was really about leadership, creativity, career, and the realities behind success. Now, for those who don't know what Cannes Lions is, it's one of the world's biggest gatherings for creativity, marketing, media, technology, and culture. Because basically, for 1 week, you have leaders, brands, creators, entrepreneurs from across the globe come together to exchange ideas, build relationships, and talk about where the industry is heading. It's a bit loud and commercial at times, but at its best, it's a place where unexpected conversations turn into real opportunities. And that's also one of the reasons why I went there, because I wanted to create something different for this platform. Sure, gaming is the main focus and will always be the main focus, talking to people of color working in our industry. But I think there's also a lot we can learn from Black folks in the broader entertainment and tech industry. And that's why I started trying out this new thing, which I call Black Game Pros Conversations. So basically, what happened was I bought an Osmo Pocket 4 camera, which super cool. It's also the thing that I'm filming with right now, hence the quality enhancement. Yay for 4K. But the idea was I've been going to the con lines for the last few years, and every year I am surrounded by Black excellence. There's people out there that do amazing things, and what's up, Eli? I see you in my DM. Pull up in the chat of the conversation, man. We're live. Every year I leave the con lines inspired, and I was like, well, I have this platform now, Black Game Pros. Why not see where we can join forces with me interacting with the people that are out there, asking them for knowledge, and then sharing that knowledge with you all. A bit all over the place, but I hope you understand. So what I did was I interviewed around 15 or so different leaders within the entertainment, gaming, tech industry. You see a few here, amazing names on the screen, and basically asked them one question: what is the biggest misconception about success? Because I think for a lot of us, me included, success was kind of this North Star. It's like, I want to be successful. I want to have a career. I want to be something abstract that I didn't even really know what it was. That being said, the older you get, the more you start reflecting on what is this actually? What is success, and why is it important for a lot of people? So I thought it would be interesting to ask people that, have walked a path, not per se within gaming, to see how they reflect on their success. And like I said, I call it Black Game Pros Conversations, and I'm going to share a first video with you all now. Where is my mouse? It's right here. So the first conversation is with Linwood Bibbins, who is the founder and chief executive officer of Reach TV. And I asked him, what is the biggest misconception about success?
Linwood Bibbins, founder and executive chairman of Reach TV. And I'm going to answer the one misconception about success. It's not overnight. It never has been, never will be. When people look at it, we're 10 years into Reach TV. And now people are saying, congratulations. There's been 9.5 years, 9.9 years before this, congratulations. So I think it's consistency and discipline is the most important part of success.
Was it worth it?
Always worth it. Because God wouldn't have put you in that position unless he's putting something in front of you that he's getting you ready for. So all of this is building up.
So as you can see, like short videos, sharing knowledge. And Linwood Bibbins is a guy I've been following for a while. He's, like I said, he's the chief executive officer of Reach TV. Reach TV is this platform in the States. By the way, my friends in the States, happy early 4th of July. I know it's tomorrow, but still. He basically takes care of all the programming for all the screens that you see at airports. For people that travel a lot, including myself, there's a lot of screens, and he basically takes care of all the programming. And through that, he has lots and lots and lots of eyeballs that he connects with. And he started his company 10 plus years ago, and now is named in the same kind of mogul level as, as other big names in the industry. So it was interesting to have a conversation with him and get his perspective on success, where indeed, I know it's cliche, but it's not an overnight kind of thing. For me, for example, it took me 20 years to be in audition. Actually, this month is my 20th anniversary at Ubisoft. And to answer actually what Annabelle was saying in the chat, so Con Lions, if you would go to their page, you can buy a badge. You can buy a creator badge for, I think it's like 1,400 euros or dollars, which is, in my opinion, a crazy amount of money. I'm sure it's worth it for some people if you have that kind of dough. But what I've discovered, I'm just giving you a tip. You don't need to buy any badge. There, you can basically see the Con Lions as a main festival for which, yes, you need a badge, which is indoor in this, they call it the Palais, where indeed you need to have your badge in order to get in. However, it's in Cannes, south of France, on the beach. So you have a boulevard, and across this boulevard, you have like all of the big brands, from Meta to Snapchat to big investor brands, Adweek, all these kind of things. And they have their activations on the beach. And for these activations, you can just sign up in advance for free. If you're a creator, if you have a platform, if you have a professional email account, and even if you just have a Gmail account, I'm pretty sure you can register for these kind of things, which, like I'm saying, use it to your benefit. You do not need to buy a multi-thousand euro badge. I think the official like gold badge for the Con Lions is around $4,500, which is insane. Sure, you get benefits and but we need to be smart about how we spend. So, like I said, Annabelle, see you next year in Cannes. Hey, Tony. And by the way, Tony will be a guest in one of the upcoming episodes for Black Game Pro sessions. Date needs to be fine-tuned. I'll figure it out with you later. Too many people think success is a destination. It's about managing the journey, and indeed, that is exactly true. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you need to be aware that it takes time. And it's not about the destination. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's about the journey, because along the journey you learn, and along the journey you grow. Consistency is key. Showing up every day, also knowing when to take breaks as well. Actually, that's a good segue to the another Black Game Pros conversation I had with Erica Bennett. Erica Bennett is the chief marketing officer for Revolt TV. So that's the TV channel in the States that hosts, for example, Drink Champs. And she talked a lot on self-care. So let me share that video now.
My name is Erica Bennett. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Revolt and its parent brand Offscript worldwide. The biggest misconception about success is the harder you work, the more successful you'll be. And let me explain, because it's not that you shouldn't work hard, but I think we've gotten caught up in this notion or idea of hustle culture, like we have to grind it out for years and years and years, work millions of hours, not sleep, not take care of ourselves. And in reality, it's the opposite. I found, at least in my career, when I started to take care of myself, when I started to prioritize things like sleep and family and having a life outside of work, I actually could show up better to work. And I saw my career grow in very meaningful ways.
So indeed, you need to, the higher you get, the more you work, the more successful you get. I mean, that's sometimes how it can go. And self-care is super important. I hear a lot about burnout, like middle, upper management people that just go too hard and put too much in. And I think especially if it's not your company, self-care is even more important, because in the end, you work for a boss. Not saying that you should slack at your work. No, you give your best, but take care of yourself. You can only do the best work if you also take care of yourself. And Leroy indeed defines success: doing what you love, creating beautiful things with for people. The journey is the success. I couldn't agree with you more. That's how I live my life as well. Creating stuff that moves people. Same thing with this platform. I mean, hoping that it moves you, in a specific way. But it's if it's your work, it better be something that you are passionate about, something that you love doing, something that you go to work every day with a smile on your face, even though it's not always that simple, but basically that. So yeah, Annabelle, see you next year in Cannes. Once again, you do not need to buy a badge for Cannes. You can sign up in advance. If you want to know how, what, where, reach out to me. There's like entire lists of events that you can sign up for in advance, and it's basically you're guaranteed for a week full of interesting meetings, events, and panel talks, and meet and greets. And for those who follow me on Instagram, you probably saw some videos that I posted. It's that kind of stuff. Tramel, success is not universal. Success looks different for everyone. And yes, that's totally right. Also, once again, a good segue. Thank you all for bringing me segues today. So the first year that I went to the Cannes Lounge, which was, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, I was aware of the event, never been there. I saw some stuff online. I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." So when I had the opportunity, and Ubisoft asked me, like, "Hey, do you want to go to the Cannes Lounge for a dinner with agency such and such and meet some people?" I was like, "Yeah, hell yes, why not?" Went to Cannes. I think I was only there for like 2 nights. Went to Cannes, had the dinner the first night, and the second day basically had the time to roam. And I remember walking like La Croisette, which is basically the boulevard, and hearing, black music, hearing like Afro beats and stuff. And like, oh, that's nice. And walking towards where the music was coming from. And there was this activation called Inkwell Beach. And Inkwell Beach is a production by an organization called the Cannes Diversity Collective, which is started by this amazing woman, Adrienne C. Smith. And I remember walking into this Inkwell Beach, meeting Ryan Johnson there, who was one of the former Black Game Pro Sessions guests. I think he had a panel there. So he managed to get me in because I didn't sign up in advance, I think. And then basically that turned into my spot to meet amazing Black people working in from healthcare to tech to entertainment. There were celebrities and all that kind of stuff, and they were all accessible, and they were all willing to share knowledge, network, and all these kind of things, which I think was super duper inspiring. So this year I managed to catch Adrienne, so the person behind Inkwell Beach, and ask her the same thing. What is the biggest misconception about success? And I'll share it here.
My name is Adrienne C. Smith. I'm the founder of the Cannes Diversity Collective. I would say one of the misconceptions about success is that it's a straight line, or the only way for you to be successful is to follow certain steps that go in a certain way. But the reality is success can look like this. It doesn't have to be a straight journey. But what's going to be important is how much are you committed to the process? What is your intention behind behind the work that you choose to do. What's important to you and why do you do the work? Why did you say yes to yourself and commit to yourself about the work that you're doing? And if you're not committed to being able to do or adhere to your yes or your commitment, then don't do it. Like, you have to really think about the long-term effects of your own life and what's going to make you happy. Because at the end of the day, it's all about what feeds your soul, and secondarily, what feeds the soul of the people that are around you. So I think if you just stay focused and realize that life is just not, or success is not a linear line, that it can find you doing twists and turns and thinking about how you are utilizing what is important to you and the intention, that will be success. And I also think that success isn't always about money. It's about, or the people that you meet, the communities that you build, and understanding that human capital is going to be the most important type of capital that you can ever have. So think about that. People first, human first, what your intentions are, and life is not about a straight line. It could go like a zigzag.
You know, it sounds super obvious, but I so embrace that philosophy where it's indeed humans first. I mean, especially in the work that I do, you know, it's about, I build experiences for people. So for me, to making sure that they have an amazing time, and also the people working with me, making sure that they have a good time and that they learn and that they grow. And through that, you know, do what I do, and then indeed realizing the fact that indeed it's not a straight line. You know, it's zigzag. It can go. And there's another conversation that I had that I don't have loaded in here right now, where indeed someone said it's like multidimensional. It's like multi-layered, where it's not even like a straight line. It's not even a diagonal line. It can go any way, and indeed your success can go any direction. Success can also be built by your network. It's amazing how many relationships can lead to our success as Black entrepreneurs. And yes, 100%. I'm not sure who said that. Let me check who said that. Christopher. Yeah, no, indeed. And that's why I think an event like Cannes Lions is so important, and right now still under leveraged by us as a collective, as I can say like that. Because indeed, it's everybody is there. All the big brands, all the decision makers, all the celebrities, all the creators. And they're there to do business. They're there to shake hands. They are there to network with. And that's, you know, ever since I started going to the Lions, and I don't want to big up the Lions too much, but you know, it is what it is. Every year, my network expands. And through that, how do you say that? And through that, I keep on building. 2 seconds, by the way, because I hear a doorbell ringing and someone needs to open the door. That's fell asleep here on the couch. That's one of the benefits of working from home. Girlfriend's falling asleep on the couch. You know, it's Friday. It's the end of the week. By the way, good thing, the editing of all the videos was done by me. So also, I'm not sure for those who are into editing or want to get into editing, I'm not a professional editor, as you could probably see in the videos. However, there's this tool called descript.io, which I used in order to edit these videos, and it's been a lifesaver. I mean, I used to edit back in the days, but Descript, not sponsored by the way, was very helpful. Anywho, enough of me blabbering, because I wanted to dive into today's guests. So today's guest is someone who genuinely embodies the intersection of gaming, technology, music, entrepreneurship, and community. Pause. It's wonderful when you write a script. So Jaye Watts is the founder and CEO of Coexist Gaming, an experiential gamification company and community-driven ecosystem designed to bring creative and technical minds together. She's also an electrical engineer by training, Indeed, I found that out. I didn't know that. A Grammy-nominated recording artist, songwriter, and a visionary behind behind the Coexist Game House in New York City, a space built to give creators, gamers, and entrepreneurs access, opportunity, and a place to belong. So through Coexist Gaming, Jaye has created far more than a gaming community. She's built a platform that connects people, develops talent, creates pathways into the industry, and challenges the idea that any of us should have to choose between the different parts of who we are. So I sat down with Jaye at the Cannes Lions, where Coexist Gaming was bringing its unique approach to community, gamification, and just her presence. So we spoke about her journey, the business of building communities, why she believes everything can be gamified, and what it really takes to turn a vision into something that creates opportunities for others. So without any further ado, let me go full screen on the interview with Jaye. And I'll still be here, no worries. So if you have any questions, feel free and please interact with the chat, leave your comments, and also tell me in the chat, what is your biggest misconception about success? So without any further ado, Jaye Watts.
Well, hello everybody. Now this is a different kind of situation. As you can see, I'm sweating, I'm hot as balls, we're in Cannes, but I have the amazing Jaye Watts right here with me. And first of all, thank you, Hip Hop Gamer, for introducing us.
We love you, G.
Exactly, we love you, G. But
yes.
I'm super happy to be here with you.
Likewise.
Thank you for your time. I know you're super busy. I hope you're okay and not dying too much with the heat, because it is a scorcher here.
Todo Dominicana. I am always
you're used to it. You're used to it.
I'm happy here.
All right, perfect.
And we're in the south of France. They can't see this view that we're looking at over here.
I will add in some shots so that people see the view that we have right now, because it is insane.
We're looking at a bunch of beautiful yachts on the water in the south of France. It's
Exactly.
kind of hard to.
But that's just. But whoever thought that gaming would bring us so far?
I agree. I don't know if anyone did, actually.
It's the same thing with me. It's like every now and then I have to pinch myself and be like, is this real life?
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's so special though about the industry. The fact that very few people are authentically in the gaming industry because of what they thought it could be in terms of some maybe monetization thing, whatever. It just was a very authentic progression happened because gaming was always meant to be inclusive and fun. And I think if we understand that as a foundation, which is why community becomes such an integral part of its growth, then we don't lose sight of what it means to be a part of an industry that has grown to be the largest entertainment industry in the world, and why more and more people year over year keep gravitating to it.
Yeah, but still, looking at an event like this, the Cannes Lions, I mean, we're here and gaming is almost nowhere to be found.
Correct.
Well, this is the biggest creative advertising kind of thing going on here, and where are we? Where are the big brands?
I mean, the thing is, the big brands are here, right? But what they're not talking about is the gaming industry. That's because they don't understand it.
I'm talking about the big gaming brands. Why Ubisoft, EA, Activision?
I don't think they've ever been here.
Which I think, but it's a missed opportunity.
I agree.
I don't want to make it too much about the hating on the industry, but it's there's a world of opportunity here. There's so many decision makers here. There's all the big brands. It seems super easy.
I mean, it's not about easy. It's about conveying something that they're not used to. So I'm here, right? Because I am actually gamifying a beach. So I am here, and that's what my company focuses. It focuses on bringing the gaming industry into worlds it's not in. And we are, I'm not gonna say alone in it, but we're definitely working with brands that are non-endemic to gaming, and we have been, from beauty, health care, hair, fashion, cosmetics, finance, real estate, you name it. Everything can be gamified.
And that is also how I found you initially. When I was looking, I'm always looking to expand the network and highlight the amazing people working in the industry. And then I saw all the work that you have been doing. And I was like, how the hell did our paths didn't cross before? But take it all the way back. I mean, why gaming? Is that always something that was part of you?
Yeah, I've been playing video games since I was 4 years old.
And did you ever think you could make a career out of it?
No, that was
Of course not.
like to this day, my mom is literally like, I was super talkative when I learned Spanish is my first language. When I learned English, I was super talkative. I played video games, and my mom was like, the two things that I couldn't get you to stop doing, you now make money from. So, but it was purely off of just when you're younger. This is just who you are, right? I gravitated to games because that's a part of what I love. I love the interactivity of it. I was diagnosed with ADD when I was 6, so I talk a lot about neurodivergence. But I didn't realize, because we're not diagnosing ourselves as kids, I didn't realize that part of what I loved about games was that all of my neurotransmitters and my synapses were being fired simultaneously. I'm like using the left and right hemisphere of my brain, and that's the unique thing that gaming offers as an interactive source of media that other forms of media don't actually offer. And it's the most optimized version of it. So no, it's a very authentic part of who I am. But I think society definitely kind of takes the controller out of one hand and it replaces it with a Barbie doll. Yep. And it tells you as a woman how you should behave. And so you try to
I love that.
assemble, you know, and acclimate to what society says is appropriate. And I think anybody that's watching this that watched anime and that loved comics, they were also subject to this sort of societal bullying, which is why now we have so many artists and entrepreneurs and actors, Henry Cavill and Michael B. Jordan, T-Pain, who are loud and proud about what they love.
But that's the thing. I've been in the industry for 20 years.
Yeah.
And when I first started, indeed, being black and being a nerd or being a gamer or being a fan of anime was kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
Why do you think that changed? Because indeed these kind of anchor points like a Michael B. Jordan, people we look up to, like they gave us permission? What do you think?
Oh, because I think a lot of them are just now sharing their excitement and passion for something they've always loved. I think it's because the gaming industry not only keeps growing year over year, it keeps growing because it attaches itself to new communities, younger and younger generations. Brands have a very specific fiscal almost responsibility to remain relevant in front of those younger communities. Yep. And the one thing that is a static, it is not dynamic, a static searing reality is that every new generation keeps playing more and more games. So this industry is not going anywhere. People are focusing on, I think, some of the wrong things. They're focusing, and I say wrong, and it's not about right or wrong, but they're focusing on, oh, AAA studios are closing. It's like, well, that's because there's an uprising of communities, sub-communities,
exactly.
There's new pipelines of
shift, the
creating.
shifting.
But it's because of new pipelines that are created about developing to meet the demand of the next generation who wants more games. So we're here because younger demographics need and want more. Now that means that there's a demand for the supply to keep creating more. And I think they are establishing this foundation and standard that says, I don't really care what you feel about gaming. I'm a gamer. I play games. I'm a streamer. I'm going to stream on Twitch. And they're getting younger and younger, and they are the demographic that not only everyone's targeting, I mean, Roblox and all of the non-endemic companies that are integrating their ecosystems or even just their brands if they don't have an ecosystem into Roblox because they want to be in front of these, like the next generation.
But what was the moment for you then that it clicked, that you turned from a fan into a community builder? How did that transition? Because it's quite a few steps, being like someone who just enjoys the art form to becoming part of the art form or being one of the drivers.
I think that wasn't my transition. I think being a community builder has always been who I am because leaders don't necessarily choose themselves. People that follow them do. And so as a recording artist, I already had fans. I amassed an audience and then I chose to engage them and I built communities. So no matter what industry I was in, I was always building community. The transition happened when I decided to go from just gamer to founder and then CEO, which allowed me to exercise other parts of who I am. The analytical, calculated, methodical engineer, by the way, because I studied electrical engineering undergrad. And I was a mathematician before that and all this. So I lived like a world where I was always an artist, a musician since 5. And always competing in music and in science and engineering. They were never separate. They coexisted. That's why I built a brand that allowed my loves to coexist. And gaming was a natural segue. It's like the only industry that has music and art and writing and stories and visuals, and that's all creative. And then there's the code and the design and the analytics and the quality assurance and localization. And it was the industry that I loved when I was younger. And as I grew up, I was like, I understand why I loved it, because it loved me back.
That's a good point. Was there did you have a mentor? Was there someone who whispered in your ear, hey, you should turn your passion into actually becoming a CEO?
No. So one, Coexist Gaming is not my first business. So I've been a CEO. I just didn't call myself that because I'm an entrepreneur. And you don't think about positions until you have a team. In my first business, I was basically a solopreneur. I was a sole proprietor. You know, it's wine education spirits business. And I took, it's fine. It's just going to stay there. It's going to stay there.
Third time.
But I know, right? There's some charm. I don't even know. But I learned what it meant to have a business the first time. I think arguably before my first company, as a recording artist, you are a business.
That's true.
You know, you just don't necessarily treat yourself that way because you're not really in control of your entity. But I mean, so I think the switch or the transition happened when I realized I built a physical world, right, based on a non-physical ecosystem. And in order to scale it, I was like, I need to generate revenue. That's the first step, because you don't really have a business if you're not making money. You have an idea, and even non-for-profits generate revenue, right? But that was in that moment I had to kind of start treating it differently, like I got to generate revenue. It's like I can't do all this by myself. I got to hire people so that I can, but then I need to teach them how to do things. So I really started very organically building an ecosystem as a result, a company, where I ended up having a staff. You know, now I have a staff of 32 people, and we're across 6 different time zones. But it all happened very organically.
Well, what does that feel like, being responsible for 30 people's livelihood?
Yeah, there's like 20-something of them, 22 or so that are full-time. And I always say there's nothing worth having that's easy. So I think that this path I'm on is already difficult because it was my best friend and I that actually started Coexist. He was a guy, and I would have never started a gaming company being a woman because I know I would have been up against so much scrutiny. The world they hadn't really seen it, they weren't ready for it, and I just didn't want to be up against so much opposition. So I leveraged his male likeness to really kind of grow this thing. And once we built an operation, because I was always the community builder, particularly with women, and the business side, because like we would do all the cool stuff. It was my apartment, it was 3 rooms, it was 2 floors, we both had a bunch of gaming systems. But I was like, we should mod these so we have access to more games. And we should add tabletop games and card games and board games because I want to bring girls into this fold. Let's add cosplay because I want to bring another demographic of people in the diaspora. Let's incorporate anime. Let's incorporate comics. And so it was me understanding all the things I loved. I wasn't the only one. And that was what was so exciting to me. I really just wanted to connect with more people that liked the same stuff I liked. And I could only find them at conventions. And I was like, so if I don't go to Comic-Con, I want to find the rest of my people.
And bring them in.
And create opportunity with and for them.
I remember watching a few of your videos of like Coexist Gaming, the events that you guys host, and how you really like combine the cultures, how you merge like amazing hip-hop DJs or amazing tunes with amazing food, with hardcore gaming. It works so well. And I think the model that you created with Coexist, we need these environments, almost like a community house where we all come together and nerd and geek out, other than the convention. Indeed, because you said normally you see us at the convention. That's the only place where you see people that look like us. And indeed, you created this environment where people can just thrive and come together. And it's amazing.
It is. It's inclusive. It's dope. It's everything that gaming really represents. Gaming is creative, it's technical, it's logistical, it's inclusive. If you want to come and chill, you can chill. The thing is, what I love is it's not just hardcore gamers, because the truth is hardcore gamers are less than 1% of the entire industry. So it's welcoming the other 4 point whatever billion people and saying, I know you were looking for a place, you finally have one. And now that's why we're focused on scaling to meet that demand.
I love that. I'm sure you get a lot of like gratitude from people that attend your
It always warms my heart.
Yeah, but I mean, it is beautiful what you're doing because you're giving people the opportunity to be themselves, to embrace their inner geek, their inner whatever, and it's all good. No judgment.
Correct.
It's like, no, it's like, celebrate it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think we as a people haven't really been doing too much, because back in the days it was frowned upon if you were a nerd. I remember my first gaming tattoo that I got, and people were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, nothing. I just lived this life.
Yeah.
So what is next for Coexist? Where are you taking this? Is this going to go global?
Yeah, global impact is always the goal. It always has been. From the moment I understood what this really was. I have a propensity of building brands that are bigger than me, which is always great. I don't feel like it's about me. I feel like I am a unique vessel that God created
The facilitator.
to be used. And so it's definitely global for sure in terms of the physical space, but you know, at the core of what Coexist currently is, it is a tech company. You know, we build tech. We've always systems that fostered opportunity to build games, leveraging a lot of brands to bring them into our world in a more authentic way than they ordinarily were. There's a lot of growth when it relates to tech, strategy, it's progress. You know, we have a very impressive behavioral and intelligence layer-based platform that gamifies anything. Our parent company is a gamification agency. We really feel like everything should be gamified.
I totally agree. We learn through play.
Absolutely.
Play is innate. We need it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's good that you're offering the opportunity for people to embrace that.
Yeah.
How do you stay balanced? Because it's a lot. I see you all over the place. I follow you on Instagram. I see you traveling from here and there, doing that, meeting all, especially being neurodivergent. How do you keep yourself healthy?
Yeah. The truth is, I don't know if I do stay balanced. I just know that I create space to give myself the time I need, because I've learned that no one's going to take care of you better than you take care of yourself outside of our creator. But I work really hard and very nonstop. And so I just intentionally take moments. I listen to my body, listen to what my mind is truly saying. When I'm exhausted, I rest. Maybe not as soon as I should sometimes, but I still do.
Because a lot of people, I mean, my partner's neurodivergent as well. Some people just keep on going until they burn out.
I do. I'm like that. And so I make a point. You know, I do things like I have a massage membership. Every month I get, you know, a massage and they roll over. Those things are really important because it's necessary that you're in a position to just rejuvenate yourself, you know? The people I'm around, I know a lot of people. I don't have a lot of friends, and that's on purpose.
You keep the circle small.
Yeah, they replenish me, pour into each other. That's very fulfilling for me. And I just think when you're focused on global impact, I don't know if balance is really the key initially because it's not realistic.
I mean, you have to grind to get in there.
You got to grind, but you got to make some very difficult decisions that are not common and not comfortable. And most people are not making them, but they don't want the same things you want.
They don't want it bad. They don't want it bad enough.
They don't want the same things you want. Everybody doesn't want global takeover. It's like, what does that mean? You probably have a lonely life. You know, like you're working a lot because you can't sleep because you're so excited about the dream that you feel when you sleep. So the only way to make it happen is to wake your ass up and get to work.
I love that. I love that. But you're right.
Yeah.
And actually, it links to, I'm testing out this new format here at the Con Lines where I'm asking leaders one question. And you kind of like allure to that. It's like, for a lot of us, success is the North Star. We want to be successful, but we don't really know what that means.
Right.
According to you, what's the biggest misconception of that, of success? What are the sacrifices that you had to make?
I think the biggest misconception is that success is universal. It's not. Success looks different for everybody. There's somebody that, I'm a recording artist, and for me, you know, I wanted the Grammys, I wanted my music in movies, and even to this day, I still want to be a household name in the industry that I love so much, right? But for someone else, and I have friends like this, they're happy singing every day, 5 days a week in a local bar. They're getting paid to sing, and they're happy with that. And they're making a living off doing music, and that is success to them. So I think it depends on what success is like. When it comes to the gaming industry, that's one of the first questions I ask people. So they go, oh, everybody wants this game, and everybody wants Elder Scrolls or GTA or Fortnite. They name these $100 million games. It costs $500 billion to like market and everything. And I say, what is success to you? If you can't answer that, you don't need to be focusing on building a game because you need to understand what success, the metric is for you. And that definition is not right or wrong, and it's not the same for anyone else. Some person's version of selling a game, they're gonna get 250, 500,000 downloads. And you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. And that is success for them. Someone else that has gone through different channels, they're like, yeah, I'm trying to hit the $50 million downloads.
It's all a matter of perspective.
Absolutely. And success is always about perspective.
Do you feel like you're successful? Or successful in what you're trying to achieve?
To me, my goals are irrational and delusional. So I know how I've achieved by society's metric commercial success across different industries, but I am not what I consider successful yet. Not in this world. In terms of my growth as a person that allows me to position myself in a way, it allows me to build businesses, then I'm successful. I'm successful as it relates to being a person who has never lost sight of my values, my foundation, my infrastructure, and I'm in rooms with billionaires and people that are very well known and celebrities and influencers, and I'm just very unfazed by all of it because it could not be me. And knowing that God, for me and my creator, is above everything and the reason for everything, I don't feel like I've achieved the level of success I want because I know that God has more for me and greater for me because God built me that.
Amen to that. So, what is the goal? What is the dream? You say irrational and maybe a little bit delusional, but I think the biggest progress comes from people that might consider themselves a little delusional, people that push the fucking bar. So, delusional maybe, but still, what is that goal? What do you see? What is the North Star?
I mean, it really is global impact.
But what does global impact look like to you?
Our lounge now scaling it to multiple cities and countries throughout the planet, everywhere that there's demand, being able to provide more inclusive, safe spaces to the communities that desire and need them, building and expanding on the economies that we create, which highlight what it looks like to gamify education, to have video games not be something that's taboo to parents, but instead something that they choose to invest in, corroborate, and support. It's as physical as it is digital. There's our physical scale where we know people do need these spaces. And then the digital part is like, we need to keep creating. We need to create with an understanding of what it means to own a business. Because even if you have a studio, you're still running a business. If you want to raise some capital, you got to go hire some other people. Cool, let them run your business, but that doesn't mean you don't even know the business. So I think that's super important. The other things are pretty typical and ancillary, so I don't like harping on those. Everybody says the same things. You're in a place, you're playing games, blah, 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 but the truth is what matters to me is making sure that we build the pathway where the next generation knows exactly how they should enter gaming, what games they should play, what they should be building so that they really understand, oh, this is how I do that. And then when they brought that to life, we make sure that additional creators and developers are working together to build better games, but they're marketing the games in a way that makes sure people know and understand we created this for you.
Why do you think that the stories or the marketing campaigns that are being told right now don't really resonate they only resonate to a specific audience?
I mean, I think every message resonates with a specific audience, right?
True, but a lot of the a lot of marketing campaigns that are being done, they're focusing on a specific profile gamer X. But through that, sometimes they exclude people like us because we don't feel represented in that campaign, or we don't feel spoken to, or they're using a weird language, or they're using proxies in order to get to us. That's my opinion. I don't know.
I agree with that. I agree with that. We are relevance.
We are more than relevant. We drive the culture.
No, we are relevance.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes, true. Yeah.
We are everything relevant. Across the spectrum, no matter what is on the spectrum, across the board, I think that it behooves brands to be in front of us. Mm-hmm. It behooves them to gain a better understanding of what's necessary to authentically integrate whatever it is they're offering into an ecosystem that they do not have and they haven't built.
I know a lot of people that watch this stream. We have a lot of founders, a lot of industry folks, but also people that are broader than just gaming. If anybody watching would like to support, collaborate, is there anything you need right now? Anything, any help you were looking for? Any support? Any insights? Or you already have everything on lock?
I don't think anybody has everything on lock.
Some people act like they do.
Act like it, but I don't think they do. I mean, we're out here on Can Lion, and these businesses will spend millions of dollars because they don't have everything on lock, or they wouldn't be spending millions, they'd be saving it. So everybody needs something. You know, we're super, I can't have a brand called Coexist and not want to. So we're collaborative. You know, we always look for people that are interested in just joining the team, wanting to know what more they can do to contribute to it. I'm just here for great conversations and then implementing those great conversations.
I think this was a short but great conversation as well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, so I'm sorry people watching, you might be a little bit distracted because there's like, we have Diplo right there right now doing a little speech, and there's like a lot of stuff going on. You know, if the people want to see, of course, I would like to have like a longer conversation without the distractions. But I think already this is something that is illuminating to me. I enjoy this conversation. Is there anything else that you would like to get off your chest to the 100 millions of viewers that watch this?
If you don't like the world that you live in, maybe because you're meant to build a new one. Empires don't build themselves. You'll always search for your partners.
Brick by brick by brick.
But your partners are everything. We're never outnumbered, we're just out-organized. And there are people that love the same things that you love. They're excited and passionate about those things. Find those people and build a tribe. That tribe becomes community. Community builds immunity, and we don't have time to be sick. We got too much work to do. Strong immune system. This is how we coexist. Clock it.
Appreciate that. Well, you know, like I said, normally it's a different session. Normally I'm behind my desk. This is new, so the camera angles might be a little bit weird, but it's about the message. And I think the message that Jay here shared is super important because indeed, that's also something that Gordon Bellamy said, and I know I quote him almost every session, but your career, your life is a multiplayer game. You cannot do this by yourself. And I appreciate you echoing, and I appreciate your time, Jay, really.
Likewise. This was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
So yeah, that was the session. That was the conversation with Letta J Watts, and she dropped a lot of knowledge. So first of all, once again, thank you for your time, Jay. Really, it was cool. I know you're in the south of France, still living it up. That's why she couldn't be here in the flesh as well. For the people watching, if you want to see a full session with her, a full-hour conversation where you can also interact, put it in the chat. I'm sure she'll read it. I think we're going to do it anyway, but still, you know, it's if you guys want to see it, that would also be nice, but I want to see it personally as well. So, you know, that's important. To go back into a few of there was like a conversation going on. Let me see. I want to put them on the screen because there was some cool stuff here. And Annabelle, once again, dropping knowledge. In the end of the day, most people just want to find a community, and I totally agree with that. You know, it's already lonely enough out there as it is, and so if you can find like-minded people that you can geek out with about whatever your passion is, that's, you know, it's super cool, and that's also one of the things that I'm trying to build here. Not per se, I mean, community maybe, but at least to give the access to the knowledge or give the access to the people that drive the community and drive the culture. Jemmy, yes, that's a very controversial thing right now. I mean, and I tend to also agree with what Tramel mentioned, that it's a mistake. You know, I think it's inevitable, though. You know, the world where we live in, everything gets more and more digital, but also, indeed, it's an opportunity for other parties to, you know, to create and maybe even more elaborate physical experience or a physical box, because in the end, we're all humans. We want to have something in our hands. You know, we want to have a tangible experience connected to our digital experience. At least that's what I think. Heavy on the delusional goals. Quote from Steve Jobs: "The people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do." Indeed, I think you need to be a little bit delusional in order to make a impact, whatever that impact is. You can't let that slide. Xbox should do the opposite and encourage physical media and convert PS audience. Digital ain't that good. Convenience doesn't mean better, especially when higher prices. Your data could get deleted along with your whole file copy that you paid for. Plus, it's cool seeing the cover art or even the designer who spent the time on the booklet menu. Yeah, anyway, PlayStation tripping. What I will echo what Trammell said. I think it's an opportunity. There's an opportunity here for the people that still want to have that physical copy, and I think there will be a world that will have that kind of stuff, I believe. They started making prices from the industry gets it wrong from time to time. I think in the end, we are all just trying to figure it out along the way. Hi, Edward. Hello. Can't think of the last time I purchased a disc, but just like a physical copy of a book, having a hard copy is important. There are more than games. There are stories. Exactly. There are experiences that we invest tens or hundreds of hours in some specific game. So I understand that, if you just have the digital copy and it disappears, that's upsetting. I get that. I totally get that. So that's why I'm saying I think that there's an opportunity here for maybe for us to create a company where you sell physical copies of new games. I'm sure the industry would applaud that. I'm sure, go right ahead. So actually, I have two more of the Black Game Pros conversations that I had that I wanted to share here as well. Kind of like to round up this special episode of Black Game Pro Sessions. We will be back with the Black Game Pro Sessions in 1 or 2 weeks. Some of the following guests that we will have are Michael Newton, who is one of the brilliant minds behind the French agency Narratify, together with former Black Game Pro Sessions guest Jennifer Lufau. We have a content creator Contraviction coming up later in the month as well. We have Colin Andrews, composer, coming up and working on some more guests for season 2 of Black Game Pro Sessions. But we're not done yet for today. So, like I said, two more Black Game Pros conversations, starting with this one.
The biggest misconceptions or downsides about success is what you have to sacrifice to get there. I've built my career as an ambitious Black woman trying to do big things to make my family proud. And in the process, I have lost relationships. I have left behind a lot of meaningful relationships. And if I had it to do all over again, I would still be ambitious, but I would shift my value set to value my family and my friends and my relationships as much as the ambition and the climb.
And it's kind of funny how people look at success in hindsight when they're already at a position where maybe as a kid or when they were growing up, they were like, oh, I want to be there. And then when you were there and you look back, it's like, oh, shit. Like I did miss a lot of time. I did not have the time to have the social context or interaction that I might have wanted to have. I might have neglected some things here and there. It's all kind of a give and take. You have to make sacrifices. Nothing is for free. And I think it's something that's important to remember. And that's why self-care, once again, is super important. You can burn yourself out on the way to the stars, whatever the stars are for you. So one final Black Game Pro conversation that I have that I wanted to share for today. And then, of course, if you have any further questions, I'm still here. So yeah, enjoy this final Black Game Pro conversation. I think I still have 5 or so more that I will share probably in the next episode, or maybe throughout the week, depending on how I feel and how busy I am.
Shannon Watkins, Watkins Brand Advisors. I'm a 3-time CMO, been at some of the largest companies in the States and globally. And the biggest misconception about success is that it is free and that it is easy. There is always a price to pay, whether that is loss of time with your family, your friends, your health, there is a price. And so as you aspire to corporate roles, just be up for the challenge, up for the battle, and every day you have to talk yourself into getting back on the saddle with grace and confidence to fight another day. It is all worth it as long as there are people behind you coming to occupy your seat. If you do not create space and groom the next layer of leadership, you were the only one, and that is not legacy, and then it's not worth it.
I mean, amen to that, right? I mean, it's lonely at the top. When people say, and I'm not saying that I'm at the top, but it's more of a, if you can share the moment, if you can share your success with the people around you, with your loved ones, I think that is the highest goal you can have. Indeed, once again, Annabelle dropping knowledge bombs here. Success is only worth it if there are people there to share it with you. A little anecdote on my end. You know, I used to produce E3 for Ubisoft from 2014 up until the end of E3 2019, RIP E3 still. And I remember going there every year and being like, you know, working hard, of course. You know, first it was hard work, but just to be there and to walk around basically is something that as a kid I could have only dreamt of. And just being there by myself, I mean, not just by myself, with my colleagues as well, of course, but being like, it would be nice if I could share this with my loved ones. So at a certain point in time, and I think it was 2019, so actually the last year E3 took place, I was in the opportunity where tickets were relatively, flights were relatively cheap, could find a relatively inexpensive hotel, and I managed to bring out my 2 brothers and my nephew, which was such an amazing experience, because then you can share, you can share that success, or you can share the experience. And just seeing my younger brother's eye and my nephew's eyes when they walked into the LA Convention Center and saw E3 with their eyes for the first time and went to our press conference, that was great. That was very heartwarming. So indeed, if you can share it with the people around you, I think that makes success even more fun. Could you imagine having a priceless album from Repla? I mean, the question. I mean, I'm already old guy, so maybe what do the younger people think about this? I mean, do they have the same attachment to a physical thing, or is digital okay with them? I mean, I don't know how old you are, Jimmy. So, Paul, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I think. I mean, and once again, that's just from the reports that I read. And I don't have any kids, but I think that the new generation, like the 10 to 20-year-olds, Gen Z, I think that is that. I mean, I don't think they really care, or maybe they do. Maybe it's, and I think that's once again linked to what I said earlier. I mean, humans as a species, we have the urge for physical things we can hold on to, trinkets and artifacts. So I think there will always be an audience for having an actual copy of music, of a game, of a movie, and like have the artwork, have the little booklet, have the little poster or big poster. I think it might even be better, because nowadays, I mean, if you buy a boxed game, it's you already did nowadays. I mean, you get a box with a disc and you have a flyer with buy our DLC or buy our day one pack kind of stuff. Which, is that what you want? That's also not per se what you want. So maybe by phasing out, once again, speaking from the heart, speaking my mind, maybe when they phase out these just empty boxes with a CD in it, maybe through that, like said earlier, they create an opportunity to create more elaborate boxes, more experiential boxes, which I would love personally, even though space is an issue because it fills up space quite fast. 24-year-old gym, it's okay. Well, maybe maybe you're already too old. Maybe the youngins, they maybe don't care, or maybe they care even more. I don't know. But I also agree that it's a shame to lose a physical thing. I don't have the first game. Well, actually, no, I don't have the first game I worked on for Ubisoft. But I think I have like from Splinter Cell Blacklist on all of the games. I have the first Assassin's Creed with the statue and stuff. That kind of stuff is cool. So I totally hear you. I feel your pain. But once again, agreed with Trammell that there will be opportunity to buy your physical copies. Digital prints, though, maybe even hologram prints. I'm fine with digital. The problem I have is ownership, and indeed, I think that is the main problem, and the lack of choice. So I think that maybe it's a legality kind of thing. Maybe that the legality leads to the opportunity where publishers must have physical copies that go beyond here's a box with a code. I don't know. I'm not a legal kind of guy, but maybe indeed, because indeed ownership can be an issue. At the same time, it's maybe the same thing when you have a Netflix account. You just rent stuff. You rent the experience. It's a service. Product is a service. I don't know. I'm happy that you're so passionate about this. We absolutely care and could literally disappear at any time. It's actually scary though. We do a mix of, but for more important titles, definitely physical. GTA, Wolverine, Far Cry, etc. Happy that you mentioned Far Cry. Thank you for that. For the UB love. Yes, and I think there's examples to give of games disappearing. You own a game and all of a sudden it's gone, which I understand can be very frustrating, especially, first of all, you paid for it. Second of all, you spend your hours and time and whatever in it. You build up something in this game and then it's gone. So I understand. It's a challenging topic. I'm not smart enough to really come to any conclusion, but like I said, I love my physical copies. I love my physical things. I love having stuff in my hands. Speaking of which, cool goodie that I stole that I got from the Con Lions. Also a thing, by the way, completely different kind of thing, talk about physical experiences. If you like your free samples, your free goodies, your free t-shirts, and all that kind of stuff, come to the Con Lions. And if you want to come to the Con Lions, a man can remember, maybe next year we can turn it into a Black Game Pros Con Lions experience. I can take you all along, all hundreds of millions of people watching and show you what the Lions is. That would be fun. Anyway, enough of me blabbering. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. It's also funny that the longer that I am doing this, and this is episode 26, is that I hear from people that I didn't even expect that they would watch Black Game Pros. Like, oh yeah, I like what you're doing. I see it, and cool. Like, oh, that's nice. So I appreciate you all. It's nice not to just talk into a void that might constitute that I might be burned out and might need to take a break. No, but I appreciate you all. I appreciate you engaging with the content. And yeah, man, a final video that I already posted yesterday on the socials, kind of like the highlight reel of the Black Game Pros conversations. If you could be so kind as to like and share that video, it's on Instagram and all the other not all the other platforms. I'm a simple guy. It's on Instagram and it's on LinkedIn, and that's about it. But if you can share that, like it, because I do think it's a pretty cool video. Knowledge is shared. And with the video, I will conclude this edition of Black Game Pro Sessions. As a kind of like for people that are like, okay, Black Game Pro Session, Black Game Pro Conversations, what's the difference? Black Game Pro Sessions is the long form, this conversation, where normally you would have a live guest. Black Game Pros Conversations is the short form, quick 1-2 minute kind of conversation that I have on the fly with people that I meet along the way. So anyway, thank you all for watching this pretty chaotic edition of Black Game Pro Sessions. And I'll conclude with the highlight reel, part 1 of the Black Game Pros conversations. If you liked this video, do the likes, do the shares, and do all the things. What I also mentioned to Christopher in the chat is connect with all the people, if you want, that I feature on this platform. They're all down for it. And if you connect with them and if you don't know what to say on LinkedIn, for example, just tell them Black Game Pros sent you. Or you can name me. I think most of them will be very okay with you reaching out. And you don't have to ask them anything. Or you don't have to, it's not for, oh, give me something, but it's just to follow them and be inspired and be closer, because you never know what the future holds. Maybe final kind of like note of wisdom. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Annabelle, for engaging a lot with today's conversation, and also for being the second guest of Black Game Pro Sessions. On that note, let me conclude with the highlight video.
It's not overnight. It never has been, never will be. When people look at it, we're 10 years in to Reach TV, and now people are saying congratulations. There's been 9.5 years, 9.9 years before this, congratulations. So I think it's consistency and discipline is the most important part of success.
Biggest misconception about success is the harder you work, the more successful you'll be. I found, at least in my career, when I started to take care of myself, when I started to prioritize things like sleep and family and having a life outside of work, I actually could show up better to work. I saw my career grow in very meaningful ways.
So the biggest misconception I had was like, all I need is to make 150,000 and get a gold record. I've made it. That was it. What? No, that wasn't enough. That wasn't it.
I would say one of the misconceptions about success is that it's a straight line, or the only way for you to be successful is to follow certain steps that go in a certain way. But the reality is success can look like this.
The biggest misconception about success is that it's one big moment, when in actuality, it's 1,000 small moments compounded together.
The biggest misconceptions or downsides about success is what you have to sacrifice to get there. I've built my career as an ambitious Black woman trying to do big things to make my family proud. In the process, I have left behind a lot of meaningful relationships, and if I had it to do all over again, I would still be ambitious, but I would shift my value set to value my family and my friends and my relationships as much as the ambition and the climb.